Two more of the biggest matchups for week 3 will feature two AFC South teams facing big tests on the road. That's why this is On the Road presented by Honda. Dreams are unstoppable. You know who else is unstoppable? My guy, Fox Sports reporter Ben Arthur, who's jumping on with me now to preview these two games in the early window on Sunday. We've got the Houston Texans going up to face the Minnesota Vikings. And then the early game on the Monday night doubleheader, the Jacksonville Jaguars going to face the Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about it. Ben, how you doing, my guy?
Doing well, Dave. Good to see you. It's been a little while.
It has. It's good to see you too, my dude. And where else would I start with you but our guys, the Houston Texans, which actually the more I dug into this matchup, I realized considering this is a cross conference game, this is not a divisional rivalry. These are not teams that play all the time. There are so many eerie connections between the Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings, whether you want to talk about the obvious Stephon Diggs return to Minneapolis. This is the game with Daniil Hunter and Jonathan Grenard, the two edge rushers who swapped teams in the offseason. These were the teams that swapped draft picks, and that's why JJ McCarthy is a Minnesota Viking, is a trade with the Houston Texans. And I'll even throw in one more for you, Ben. Blake Cashman, the linebacker who's off to an incredible start with the Vikings, was a Houston Texan last year. So a lot of storylines to pull from. I'll just throw it to you. Which one of those excites you the most?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think honestly, it's just the player flip flops, right? Because um, these are going to be two teams, even though they're in different conferences, that will know each other really well because standout players on both sides were on the other side just last year. So I think in when sometimes when you have NFC AFC games, the teams can maybe catch each other off guard a little bit. But in this case, I don't think you're going to have that as much just because, really key players on both sides kind of know how the other team operates. So I think that's going to be fun. I know it's been a minute since Stephon Diggs was in Minnesota, but that's another fun storyline. I don't know how many times he's been back in Minneapolis since he left for Buffalo, but that's another one as well. But I just think to the familiarity between these two teams just from the 2023 season. I think that should make for a really fun game and two teams who are off to a good start as well.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by that main swap being Daniil Hunter for Jonathan Grenard. Like both teams had double digit sack guys. They both let them walk for a different pass rusher, and they're both off to really nice starts with their new teams. I'm kind of seeing this, we love to assign winners and losers when stuff like this happens. I feel like both guys are going to be A-okay where they're at. Like maybe this is a situation where everybody's happy, everybody gets to win. Grenard has a sack in Minneapolis already, and obviously Daniil Hunter was everywhere against the Chicago Bears the other night. Seems like everybody's going to be okay in this situation.
Yeah, David, and I think through two games, both these teams have shown an ability to get after the passer with both guys kind of leading the charge. Like for the in the Texans case, Daniil Hunter has formed already a formidable edge tandem with Will Anderson. I mean, we saw what they did to Caleb Williams uh, on Sunday night, just putting him through putting him through that. I mean, 36 pressures, that's insane. And then actually on the Minnesota side with John Grenard leading that team just up front. I mean, I think they're number one in pressure rate, number two in total pressures. And so, yeah, like you said, I mean, I think both these guys, they're fitting in pretty seamlessly on the other side.
Okay, we did mention the Diggs and the Diggs return to Minnesota, and I think it's a natural comparison to talk about Stephon Diggs going back, and now Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football, and I'm sure all eyes are going to be on that. But I want to ask you this: I got a take for you, and to take people behind the curtain, you and I both write for FoxSports.com. We put together positional rankings ahead of each season. we as a staff ranked Justin Jefferson number one in the league. I don't think that's a crazy conclusion to come to. But Ben, Nico Collins finished just outside of our top 10. And I'm not ready to say that that was a mistake on our part, but maybe we should be ready to talk about this guy as a top 10 receiver in the NFL. He's off to an incredible start. 252 yards through 2 games is easily best in the league. He was already phenomenal, had a 1,200-yard season last year. And it kind of looks like he's leveled up his game again. Like, do we need to be starting that hype train already on Nico Collins as a maybe even better than top 10? Like, honestly, he looks
Yeah.
like a top 5-ish type of guy already.
Yeah, Dave, I'll gladly hop on that hype train with you just in terms of being terms of Nico Collins being top 10. I mean, as you said, he's made strides. As great as he was last year, right? Like a 1,400 receiving yards or something around there, and has continued to ascend. I mean, we made so much about uh this trio of wide receivers this team has, and for good reason, right? You bring in Stephon Diggs in the mix, you get uh, Tank Dell back from injury, but he's been their number one receiver. I mean, he is almost, he looks borderline unstoppable at times downfield. I mean, and I think the thing about him too, like he has the speed, but he also has the size and the play strength. He's on those in breaking routes, those post routes, those digs. I mean, he's kind of doing whatever he wants down the field, and he's super fun to watch. I think he maybe kind of slid under the radar, so to speak, because I think Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs were maybe bigger names nationally than Nico Collins entering the year. But man, he's looked really special, and it just kind of emphasizes, right, just how deep and talented Houston is at these skill positions. And we haven't even talked about what Joe Mixon did for the Texans in the opener. I know he's kind of hurt right now, the whole ankle injury out of that kind of supposed hip drop tackle. But yeah, Nico Collins has looked great, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to look moving forward. Because as great as Nico Collins has looked, they haven't really been able to get Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell going to this point. I mean, Stephon Diggs only has 70 yards. He does have the 2 touchdowns, but just 70 yards. Tank Dell is under 40 yards through two games. So Bobby Slovic, he's going to have to figure out a way to get all these playmakers the ball. But I think when you have that kind of talent, um, it's kind of like pick your poison, right? And I think each week it's going to be a different guy. But yeah, huge fan of Nico. So I'm right there on the hype train with you.
It might be a different guy each week, and it's a long season, but I mean, man, what a start. And I think you're exactly right. We went into the season thinking of this as a trio, and it still is a highly talented trio, but maybe we weren't giving enough credence to the idea that one of these guys, being Nico, is a little bit above where the other two guys are at this point in their career. Should be a really fun one. Texans, a 2-point road favorite up at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota.